Hello and welcome. Today is October 22nd, 2024. And I feel like I need to do, even though I just barely uploaded the last video, it was from over 2 weeks ago. So I need to do another one real quick, especially since I'm headed to StitchWest this week. And so I need to get this done before that so that there's not so much to try and remember and keep up with. Okay, today I have 2 finishes, something like 7 new starts, cross-stitch projects, and then like 6 cross-stitch projects that I've worked on since the last time I filmed. And I went to Shepherd's Bush Retreat in Park City, so I have some stuff to show you from that. I'll do that at the end. And I left my notes upstairs, so I hope I remember everything. Okay. At the Shepherd's Bush Retreat, they had a smalls exchange, which they do a little differently. It's their fundraiser, so you pay $5 or however much you want over that, and you donate it to their fundraiser, which was Send a Girl to School fundraiser, and then you just hand them your small. You know, it's not gift wrapped or anything. You just give them your small, and it's supposed to actually be a small, not a bunch of extra stuff with it, just the small. And then you do that when you check in, and then at the banquet at the end, if you turned in a small, then you get to choose a small, but they're all wrapped exactly the same. So they just walk around at the banquet and you pick one out of the basket. So the small that I did, I showed you that it was a whip last time, but I did finish it, and I fully finished it into a tiny little pillow. It's only like this big. Forgot to do a video of it before, but here's what it looked like. And then the small that I received is this most darling little nativity. Look at that. Like, it couldn't have been more perfect for me. I don't know who made it, and I don't know what this design is. If you watch my channel, I would love to know who stitched it and what the name of the design is, but I just love it. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you. All right, and then I also finished, whoops, the Happy Halloween Stitch Along from Historical Sampler Company. They sent me the fabric and the floss, and the chart came as a PDF every 2 weeks. It was split into 4 sections, and I finished it. It was so fun. It's DMC 32 count Zweigart fabric that was custom dyed for them. I can't remember the name of it, but it is a beautiful. Was so fun. And now I need to get it hung up because, you know, Halloween's in like a week and a half. The Historical Sampler Company has another stitch along that just started on the 14th, I believe. And this one is Robin Christmas Patchwork Stitch Along. The first section came out on October 14th. You can still purchase it from their website. They are in the UK, and they send the parts out every 2 weeks through email. You can also purchase the floss and the fabric from them. This is also a Zweigart custom dye in the color Sage. 32 count linen, or you can get Ada from them as well if you would rather do that. Or you can just buy the PDF and use your own fabric and floss. And it will also come out in 4 parts every 2 weeks. And this is what I have so far. So this was one of my new starts since the last video. I started it on the 15th. I didn't get it to it on the 14th, but I did start it on the 15th. Okay, 2 finishes. I think I'll just start going through my stack. Some of them are new starts and some of them are whips, but I'll just go through them as they're stacked up here. Maybe I'll do the Shepherd's Bush retreat projects that I started at the end. Okay, this is a Shepherd's Bush bag pattern called Thankful Bag. My dear friend gifted me the bag and the threads to make it and the chart. And this is where I am so far. Pretty sure I'll have this done this month. But it's so fun. They go so fast. It's done with pearl cotton. And then you can also do the same pattern on a little pillow with DMC floss if you want. And there's a pattern for a little scissor fob. My wonderful friend Rika, she makes bags. Her company is House of Stitch and Stash. You can find her on Instagram. She gifted me this chart for a retirement gift. Plum Street Samplers, The Gather In. That was so nice of her. Thank you, Rika. So of course I had to start that right away. Mine is on what is it on? I will put it in the description box. It's pretty sure it's 40 count or 46 count. I can't remember which one. I started right in the middle with the barn door that's full of pumpkins. So that one's been so fun to work on. It would have more done, except then, you know, I had all the, all the stuff at the retreat. Oh, the fabulous Houses Stitch Along continues to go along. I just received the latest one in the mail a couple of days ago, and so of course I started that one. Number 11, Haunted House. So there's only one more in the series that will come out in a month or so, called it's just called Log Cabin House. We don't know what it looks like yet. Oh, sorry, getting this all discombobulated always takes me a minute because it's getting so big. Oh, one more. All right, where is the newest one? Lighthouse. There it is. Okay. Haunted House is the one that I just got. It's so, very Halloween-y, very creepy, but kind of fun, whimsical. And Fairy House is the one I was working on right before that. And amazingly enough, I finally finished the Red Barn square. Here it is all together now. The top three are all done. And the next three are all finished. The Red Barn now is finally completed, thank you. The lighthouse and the floating house are still under construction, as well as this fairy house, which is coming right along, but is still not quite finished. And then my little start right here on the haunted house. So, still loving this piece, still having so much fun. But man, has it been taking a lot of my stitching time this year. But I do not regret it. They have just been so fun to work on. Mine is on 46 count Prehistoric by Fox and Rabbit. And I'm using the called for threads, except for, I think all the whites in all the pieces are 3865, and I changed mine to Blanc, or just white, because I wanted it to show up a little better. I did work just a little bit on Portrait of Christ, which is a Jan Lynn kit from a long, long time ago. Probably the 80s or 90s. I'm using the kit floss, but not the kit fabric. I chose to do mine on 32 count French Vanilla by Live and Die LA. Oops. And this is what I have so far. I worked on his neck this time. Beautiful piece. Two strands of floss over 2 fabric threads. Fabulous Houses was 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. That is a Brenda Gervais. Just this file. Okay, this one is a stitch along. Oh, I should have printed out. Oh, I will put it in the description box below. I was contacted by 2 French designers that have a Facebook group. Les Petites Croix, and then it has their names. Lutine and Delphine. That's the name of the Facebook group, but I will put it in the description box below. So those 2 designers run this Facebook group, and they have this activity going on right now called a Bingo of Autumn. Bingo d'Automne. I call it Autumn Bingo. And every week they call a new, they, pick a number, and then they release that section of the chart. It has 16 sections. I just thought it was so beautiful, such beautiful autumn colors, designs. I love their aesthetic. So I had to start that. The charts are free if you join their Facebook group. You can find them in their files section. And again, I will put the name of the Facebook group. It is in French. The Facebook group is in French, but when I look at it on my computer, I can just click translate up in the browser, and it translates it to English for me. And then you can find the charts in the files section. But I'm so grateful to them for inviting me, because I'm having so much fun with it. So they've released 5 sections so far. This house right here was the last one. It calls for DMC, but I decided to use some silks that I had in my stash for most of it. Some of it is I'm using DMC. And then for this, these leaves that go all the way around the border, they're charted in 2 colors. I think it's a red and an orange. I'm trying to remember. It's hard to tell on there. And when I was pulling all the other colors, I realized that I had this ThreadWorks color. What is 1044? ThreadWorks 1044. That's this beautiful autumn palette. And they were almost identical. The colors that are in this are almost identical to the other colors the DMC colors called for in this piece. I mean, there's some others that aren't in here, some pinks and some purples and some, but of these colors, they matched the ones that were called for. So I decided to use this color to do that leaf border. So you can see that my leaves are changing colors there because I'm using that floss. And this fabric is Fabric Flare that I found at Stitchery Express. That's my local needlework store in Clearfield. It's just off Antelope Drive near Layton, Utah. And this is a Fabric Flare printed fabric called Leaf 2. And this one is 40 count. And I'm not cut up. I only have 2 boxes plus a little bit of that latest one done. But it has been so much fun. I'm really enjoying it. So that was another new start. I seem to be on a new start frenzy this month. This is Halloween Sampler by Teresa Kogut. So friends and I started it a little over a year ago on Labor Day, and we split it into 24 sections, hoping we could finish it in 2 years. Mine is on 46 count Dark Mountain by XJU Designs. And I finished my October section here, but there's also a cat on the border for each month, and I need to finish that. The flowers and the cat on the border. This one has also been really fun to work on. And that little witch, she is so cute. It's the called for flosses, 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. Okay. Now I think 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I missing one? 5. Okay, I had 5 new starts at the Shepherd's Bush Retreat because I had a class with 3 different designers who gave you a kit each. Plus they had a shared piece where all the designers collaborate on a piece. Plus Thread Gatherer was there and did a presentation and also gave us a retreat piece with all the floss and fabric to stitch it. So I had 5 new starts at this Shepherd's Bush retreat because I just was so excited I had to start them all. Okay, this one, my first class was Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread, and her piece that she designed. These are all exclusives designed for the retreat, but they'll probably all be released in about a year if you want to, if you like them. So this one's Where Love Grows by Brenda Gervais. The retreat theme was Garden of Blessings. And it says, home is a garden of blessings where love grows and memories bloom. So we received the fabric and the floss to stitch it. Came in this beautiful box. We also got the needle minder. It's 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads, and I believe this is 36 count. We also got this needle minder that matches. There are pictures on my Instagram of all the things that came in each class. Hers came in little seed packets. They were so cute, the little extras that she gave to us. It's on 36 count summer khaki linen, and it has some DMC, some Weeks dye works, some classic color works. 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. And she talked about how this, she had a favorite shirt when she was young that had an eyelet border, the eyelet trim. So she did this border to look like eyelet trim with the, where you could weave the ribbon through it. I know I had a dress with that on it as well when I was young. I also had a class. There were 6 designers there, but you either signed up for track A or track B. So you only got to attend 3 designers, depending on which track you were in. So my second class was Garden of Blessings by Heartstring Samplery, which I think is just gorgeous as well. Says, many are the flowers in my garden of blessings. And she said she loved to lay on the grass as a kid and kind of look up through all the plants and flowers up to the sky in the distance. So that's what she said, this is like you're laying in the grass looking through the flowers up at the house on the hill. And it is on, we were given the fabric and the floss for all of these, plus usually some extras. 36 count Vintage Stormy Night. It's also stitched with 1 strand of floss over 2 with classic color works and Weeks dye works and some DMC. She gave us this wooden bobbin that her husband made. And she also gave us all a little bag with all the beads in it. It was all the materials, and we sat there in class and made our own scissor fobs that say blessed. So that was fun. I started up in the corner with this daisy. Loved that class. Love this piece. And my third class was Chessie and Me. Garden Blessings. And the floss, or the fabric we got for that one is 36 count putty linen. It is also 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. Putty linen is from Weeks Dye Works. And the threads are all Weeks Dye Works. We got a pad of paper with her beautiful cat on it. And she did these beautiful thread cards for all the floss. I started at the top middle. That's what I have so far. It does have, this border has a 4-sided stitch in it, and the alphabet is over 1. But it's just a 10th stitch, the over 1 part. Beautiful pattern. Okay, and then Thread Gatherer was there, and she did a presentation about how stitching links people and generation. She pulled a lot of it from a book called Threads of Life, which is excellent. I've started reading it now because it's just so great. And then she also gave us a kit with her floss, Thread Gatherer Silks, and this pattern called Swarcy's Garden. That is her granddaughter. And you can make it into a drum, or you can just frame it as a rectangle. She also gave us the velvet and the linen to make it into a drum, the top and the bottom. She gave us a waxed sealed package that had a waxer and some lotion samples for us to try. What fabric is this? .32 count Winter Moon. 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads with the Silken Colors silks. And this is what I have so far. Oh, those silks are so gorgeous and lovely to work with. I love their silks, her silks. And then the first night we were there, Shepherd's Bush Retreat happens every other year. And it's been going for years and years and years. And so at every retreat, they have all the designers that are there collaborate on a piece. And it's called Shared Stitches. So this one was Shared Stitches Garden of Blessings 2024. This is the design. The fun part is that there's a whole bunch of little motifs in there that you can choose which motif you want to use. And they gave us a little booklet. And there's little motifs in there sized specifically for each space from every designer. So on every little section on the pattern that has a little square and tells you how many spaces it is, you can go into the book and choose which pattern from which designer you want to put in that particular space. So very fun. The floss is Weeks Dye Works and some Shepherd's Bush dyed floss. The fabric is 32 count platinum. And I think this one is also 1 strand of floss over 2 fabric threads. And that was what I finished so far. And that is the back. I'm like, that doesn't look right, wasn't it? Okay, here we go. That is what I have so far from the front. Beautiful piece. Okay. Oh, and Shepherd's Bush had a little store there. They had an extension of their store there in one of the conference rooms. We each got one of these fabric bags when we shopped there. And I did do, all of the designers had a trunk show there with their models and their designs. And I did buy a couple of things. I bought this heartstring samplery Sunday Stitches that has all these pieces that have words from hymns in them. I love these. There's several I want to stitch. All my favorite songs. I got this Brenda Gervais Autumn Swan pattern. The Thanksgiving Tiny Town, Thankful Tiny Town by Heart and Hand chart. And another bag. And they had this chart to go on this color bag with all the pearl cotton in it to stitch it. And then I also purchased, they had this scissor fob called Blessings Grow fob. And the front of it says Blessings Grow, but the back of it says Shepherd's Retreat and has the year on it. And it's a kit, has everything to make it. And then Shepherd's Bush gave us a little gift every day of the retreat. One day was this beautiful needle minder. It's a clay needle minder on a card that makes it look like a flower. This one is a little pair of scissors. This one was a little, in a little seed packet, a little tin with needles in it. We were given this pouch made by Ginger Riggs. Ginger Riggs made all of these pouches. We all got one. And then we were given a little piece of this pre-printed linen or cotton fabric to stitch your name, to embroider your name on it, and then however much of the design you wanted to embroider on. I just did the one flower and my name and stitched it to the front. Beautiful little pouch. And then at the closing banquet, we all got a stitching tray, a wooden tray that says A Garden of Blessings. It says Shepherd's Bush on the back. I do have a little bit of I was at Stitchery Express, and she has these darling little tart tins that comes with this, so that you can just put your work around this and then glue it into the tin, which is so handy. She also had these tinier tart tins by Yarn Tree. So I needed some of those. And then for plans, let's talk about plans for a minute. On November 1st, my friend Becky and I are going to stitch this. Oh, I met Jeanette Douglas at the retreat. I wasn't able to take her class. She was in the other track, but oh, she's so much fun. I feel like we've known each other for 100 years. She is delightful. This is one of her designs. It's Seasons of Stitching, I believe. But each one is Winter by the Sea, Autumn by the Sea, Spring by the Sea, Summer by the Sea. And then they all fit together to make one big square. You can kind of see it there. You can get an embellishment kit for each one, or you can just stitch it with whatever you would like, because it does use a lot of silks. In fact, it's all silks. So the embellishment pack is really nice because it just comes with enough for what you need. So we're going to start on November 1st, Becky and I, and we're going to do 3 months for each season. So November, December, January would be winter. February, March, April would be spring. And that's how we're going to work on this over the next year. Change to the next season every 3 months. And I'm going to do mine on it calls for 32 count, and I decided to stay with the 32 count because it does have lots of specialty stitches. I'm using Forbidden Fiber Company Frozen in 32 count. It's a lovely gray color that I think will work perfect for these. And then I showed you last time that we finished the group of friends and I that usually see each other at StitchWest start a stitch along every year while we're there in October, and divide it into 12 parts so that when we see each other again in October, it will be finished. So we finished the bird houses by Jardin Privé. Au Fil des Nichois by Jardin Privé. And so our next one that we will start this week is another Jeanette Douglas piece called Matter in Hand. Colette, the Highway Stitcher, her YouTube is The Highway Stitcher, and on Instagram I think she's Colette Kingsley. Very graciously leads our group every year. She has divided the chart into 12 sections. So that is how we're going to divide it up. I'm going to stitch mine on 46 count London Fog by Under the Sea. It's a beautiful gray with a slight purple undertone to it. And I'm using all the called for, looks like overdyed cotton. Classic Colorworks, Gentle Arts. Can't tell if there's any weeks in there, but it's the called for colors. So I'm starting that this week. You're welcome to join us. Hashtag OCT SAL, OCT to OCT SAL for October to October. Start at any time in October. Do whatever you want. Join us if you would like. We usually have another hashtag. You'll have to check Colette's channel to see what our other hashtag is for this one. And then my friend Robin and I have been stitching all the tiny towns. We just want to stitch all the tiny towns. So I am also going to start Halloween tiny town this week, but I'm going to do the Shepherd's Bush conversion, which adds some purple to it. And it's on 46 count Weeks Dye Works beige. That's what I'm going to stitch it on. And then my friend Jordan of Jordy's Handmade, her grandmother, I believe, does woodwork and has made some wooden spools. And she made one that was just the right size so that I can fit mine on 46 count. My tiny towns will fit around it, and then I'll just tie it with ribbon in the back. So watch her. She did say she's going to sell them. So watch her Etsy store, Jordy's Handmade, JORDY''S, Handmade. I don't know if she'll have them in several different sizes, but she'll have some spools on there for sale. So that's what I'm planning on doing with them. Okay, this is my last retreat this week. Don't have another one until April. Just planning on, you know, lots of stitching. I hope you get some stitching in too. I hope it brings you joy and calm in your life. And I'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye-bye.